Hello.
Mr. Dru Mack.
Hello, sir.
What's going on, buddy?
Chilling. How about you?
I'm doing the same. I'm in a parking lot right now.
What parking? Where at? What
This
parking
will
lot?
timestamp this thing. I've been in Estes Park for a few days.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Bouldering?
Yep. Yep. It's
My
been
buddy,
it was kind of rainy, but now it's really nice, and yeah, gonna do some bouldering.
nice. My buddy Dylan Dillbarks, uh, Dill Pickle is in Estes right now. You
Nice.
should say what's up. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have to hook you guys up. You guys should climb or chat or hang or whatever, get food.
Well, that'd be
Yo,
great.
there's a little drive-through burger joint with like really good milkshakes. It's like a gas station though, but they got
Okay.
wild burgers. It's got like jalapenos and guac on it, and like this chipotle mayo. I'll send it to you after.
I gotta remember to call you anytime I want fast food or a milkshake. You got the beta.
This ain't Wendy's, but it's good. It's really good.
Nice.
You can find it in the show notes.
I don't do show notes for follow-up calls. Where are you at in the world?
Man. I'm in St. G.
Nice.
St. George.
Back home.
Yeah, I know. Just for a couple more days.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, bud.
You're about to fly across the world.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. Tell me what's going on. You going to France?
I'm going to France to eat croissants. I'm weird. Yeah, I'm going to France with J Star and Ethan Pringle and another guy named Seth, and yeah, we leave Tuesday morning. It's crazy.
Oh, that's
Be
amazing,
there for
man.
5 weeks. We'll be in like the Verdun
Nice.
at this crowd called Brahmi Roll. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I probably am not saying that right.
Okay.
Brahmi Roll, Brahma Roll, whatever.
Tons of history there.
It looks amazing, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, do you have specific things picked out?
Mm, no, I mean just like go rock climbing.
Nice.
Yeah, there's just like a bunch of routes. I mean, there's a route called Spanish Caravan that I'd love to try, and this other one with flute in it that's like really famous. I think JB put it up way back in the day. Turbo, and yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It'd be cool. It'd be really fun. I'm very excited. Tufas
Nice.
and knee bars and stuff.
Yeah, cool. Are you gonna kind of go for mileage a little more, or just see what inspires you and zone into something? What do you think?
Yeah, maybe mileage. This year been doing a little more mileage.
You've been
mode.
hustling, buddy.
I'm trying hard. Trying hard. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. You know, I think it's like one of those trips. We'll be there 5 weeks, so
Nice.
it's like plenty of time to maybe like settle into something a little harder. But I just want to climb a bunch and have a lot of fun and whatever. Climb.
Climb.
Yep.
Awesome.
What are you doing? What's your life like? I figured
This is not
follow-up
about
would just
me.
be us chatting. I know, but I want it to be. I had therapy this morning, and that was enough talking about me.
Oh boy.
So we could talk about.
Dude, we should
everything.
reschedule then. No. I'm. This can be therapy round two. We'll dig into the deep stuff in a minute. No, I'm hanging out here. I've never been here before, so this is super fun. I've always wanted to check this place out, and
Cool.
I'm not giving myself a ton of time. I'm just going to be here for it'll be like a little less than 3 weeks total, because I do want to get back to sport climbing and tie in. But yeah, I just came off like a long training cycle, mostly on the board in the gym, and I'm feeling strong, and I want to just check this place out, do some outdoor bouldering, keep working on this
Cool.
bouldering pyramid that I'm working on, and maybe do some days at like the monastery to kind of build a little fitness back.
Yeah.
And then I'm headed to Ten Sleep for a
Wizard's
bit.
Gate. Wizard's Gate.
Yeah, I want to check out Wizard's Gate too. That looks super
Yeah,
cool.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Fun crowd. You'll go to Ten Sleep afterwards?
Yeah, then back to sport climbing, and I've got like 3 objectives, like 3 specific routes I want to try to do this fall. So,
Okay.
that it'd be amazing to do all 3, but I'm hoping to at least do 1 or 2 of them. So yeah, one's in Ten Sleep,
Cool.
one's in Rifle, and then one's like in the Front Range near Colorado Springs. Rigs, dude. Yeah.
Mad rigs. Cool. You're psyched.
Yeah, I am. Feeling good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to climb together. I want to climb with you again.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, man.
Good time.
You've leveled up since the last time we talked.
Since last time we chit-chatted.
Since last time we did this. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Can you tell me, we talked about hustling a little bit. I want to hear all about it. But first off, tell me about your best sport climbing day ever.
Oh my gosh. Best day ever. Yeah, I climbed, I've been climbing at the Hurricane Cave a lot this spring, and I was trying Life of Villains. And I was able to, I did that, which is, my first of that grade. And I was really psyched. That took me, quite a bit of effort, not as much as like some other hard routes I've done, but yeah, I definitely like really invested into that one. And then I also did this route called 86 that day, and then kind of did this other link up in the back of the cave called Killer Z. So 3 kind of big routes in a day. I think for me, it's like I've had a lot of like double days where I do like 2 hard routes. I think it's like for me, when you like catch that confidence or like that wave, it's like really, I don't know. It's really cool for me to like kind of ride that wave, and I end up doing like a couple of things that I maybe had queued up.
Yeah.
All in like one day. Confidence, motivation, whatever, just like that flow state kind of days that we all like really want to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had one of those days. Felt really good. Really good.
That's awesome. And yeah, you're not spraying about yourself, so I'll do it for you. But for people listening, Life of Villains was your first 14D, which is awesome. Route put up by Joe Kinder, and then the other 2 were both. One's 14B. It sounds like one's like the other one's also 14B or maybe A/B. But
yeah,
pretty stellar day, man. It's awesome.
Man.
Yeah, and it's funny. Before this, I was going back through your Instagram and just kind of scrolling, and yeah, like the last 3 or 4, you've had like 3 or 4 posts this year so far, where like you did a thing and then you did another 14 that day. Like you did what was it, Apex Predator and something else?
Yeah, I did Terradome. It was double 14-day as well.
And then one in Lander, right?
Brilliant. Yeah, and then just the other day in Lander. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's cool.
When you're on a roll, you're on a roll.
Yeah, you just gotta catch that wave. Yeah, it's nice to have like 2 projects at the same time a little bit here and there, and then sometimes you just like are hustling on both of them, and then it clicks and you do them both.
Totally.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had that a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like most people that climb as hard as you do that I talk to don't necessarily do that. Like they usually focus in on one route. I mean, I know you've done a lot of that in the past too, but yeah, that's interesting to hear, because I've always felt like I do better. I get things done in about the same amount of total time if I kind of divide my attention between multiple things. Otherwise, I just like dig myself into this like trench and hit a wall. But yeah.
Well, I think the last time we talked, I was trying the crew and rifle, and I was just like beating my head against one route, and and that took me a long time to do, and I was like definitely weaker after doing that. And like not as good at rock climbing, I think, but I did the route, which is fine, and that's like what it takes sometimes. But I don't know, it's cool to have like multiple things, I think.
Yeah.
Especially I think when you're getting like really close on a project and you're kind of feeling more in that mental zone too, it's a good time to have like a side hustle project to just kind of like climb a notch or 2 down, and like just be tired and still like give a lot of effort. I think this year I've learned a lot about like continuing to climb intuitively even on projects. That's a nugget right there.
Thank you, Dru Mack.
Yeah, I got you. Bookmark.
Soundbite. Perfect. Tell me, about this shift, because this year it seems like you really have made a big shift in your approach overall to how you're approaching your climbing. And I think that went back to a conversation you had with Jonathan. Is that right?
A bit, yeah, definitely. I mean, a couple things, like big life changes, obviously moving to St. George and having like the amount of rock climbing all around me has like dramatically, one, it's like I don't want to just have one project. I want to like, there's so many things I want to go climb. And so it feels like, like my motivation is so high to like go climb on all these routes that I just want to like go climb on all these routes. But also just, yeah, I mean, talking to Jonathan, he's like definitely just like a huge, whatever, inspiration, mentor, and just, and just friend, like in talking about like, what's the best way to explain this? Like consistency, I think is really important. And climbing, to push into a higher level, climbing like harder routes faster and being more consistent at certain levels, I think it just really pushes you forward. And just like living the climber life, climbing, like I want to climb all of them. I want to climb everything. I want to climb all of the hard routes. Like I want to, me and you had a day at Wailing Wall, or you saw me at like, I just want to climb all of those routes.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like getting back to the like climbing, living in the car and going rock climbing all the time.
Getting back to climbing from climbing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I'm just climbing all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing you. Yeah, that makes sense. Like going from that kind of grind approach to really just like going after all of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference in like mentality, and there's a difference in like trying to do hard things, and then just like going rock climbing all the time, if that makes sense.
So how does that play into this new kind of more intuitive approach to projecting, and maybe like a good thing to what's the word I'm looking for? To kind of unpack.
We don't have words very well today.
Words are hard, dude.
We don't sound smart, bro. We're like...
They get a lot harder when you press that little red record button too. It's kind of fascinating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The pressure's on, even though I can edit all of this out. But maybe...
I'm just bummed that I don't get to see your face, man. We should do is like we should FaceTime right now.
Damn.
This is, like, not as cool. Or like, I just wish I miss you. That kind of thing.
We can get off the call and then we can FaceTime. How about that?
All right, cool.
But yeah, let's unpack Life of Villains. I'd be curious to hear how you approach that with this more intuitive approach while also doing this kind of hustle, because it sounds like your approach to Life of Villains was pretty drastically different from what I saw you do on the crew. Totally.
Do you want to just like talk about that whole process?
Yeah.
Should I do that? Okay, cool. So I came out here and I kind of like started climbing on a bunch of different things, and I wanted to just climb different routes. And, I climbed, a really classic one in that cave called Peregrination. And I was just climbing around a lot, and really psyched to climb with Joe. He was like a lot of fun to climb with. And we did this really fun bouldering days and just like romping around and like just trying really hard all of the time. And then when, it was like kind of started trying villains, but kind of kept it a little bit light. I just like wasn't like swinging for the fences. I was just like kind of kept this attitude of like, I'll just try my best to climb, to climb as well climb as well on it as I can, but like don't have like expectations that I have to like, that I'm going to do it this year or do it anytime or whatever. And then, so I was like climbing at other places. I was trying to like I think something in my climbing that I've lacked a lot is splashing and on-sighting. Like I just never really try. And to be honest, like I'm a big second go fan, like, that like go bolt to bolt on something and learn it. And then like, just, do it more relatively easy because you know what's up. And instead of like giving that really good on-site try where you like use a lot of energy and you still might fail.
Totally.
And I just started doing that more, man. I just started trying to like flash and on-site more. And I think that like, that translated to my projecting pretty well. Where I just like, even when I was tired, even when I got a hold wrong, I just like continued fighting a bit more.
Mm.
Whereas like, I think on a project you get so in tune, like too in tune. That's a mouthful. Too in tune with like how you feel. Like
Yeah.
you're just like you know how you're supposed to feel at this shake, or you've had like a really good try and you got to this shake feeling that way. And it starts like, I think that's where the mind games come, where it gets difficult, is because like you have an experience and that creates like maybe an expectation. And so like, but with on-siting, there's no experience, so there's no expectation. And so I don't know, finding that little like flow on a project can be helpful, I guess. It was helpful for me to on-site and flash a little bit more at a lower level while still projecting.
Yeah.
And so I just tried the route a lot. I was just raging on it a lot, trying really hard. I started a new job and I was working a bit and training, and I added like in some new things. Like, I never deadlifted before. I never really squatted before. I started kind of doing some stuff like that. And, Chuck and Maggie were there, and just like legends, adepts. And, Maggie like would just scream at me to breathe more. And that helped me like learn some like more breathing techniques and patterns. And yeah, just like, yeah, I don't know. I did some like hangboard stuff further out too, that felt like applicable. I think we've talked a little bit about, my hangboard protocol for that, which we could talk about if you want. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just like climbed. I was climbing a lot of other things. I wasn't just climbing on villains. I even had days up there where maybe I like didn't climb on it if I didn't feel like it was like kind of like the psych wasn't there. And I just like kept it feeling fresh in my head and excited and, all of those things. And I just like was better than the route in a lot of ways, rather than just like getting lucky enough to do it,
Well, that's encouraging. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Well, I like rose to the level. I didn't just like try, and then like was close to that level and then did it, I was just like, especially towards the end, it was like a very linear, like I'm just going a move higher every single time. And then I climb the route, which isn't, sometimes on the other routes that are really, really hard for me, it's like all over, I get a high point and then a low point and then like, somewhere in between. And yeah. So I don't know.
That's
a lot
cool.
of things are different.
Yeah, I have a pet theory about that. It might be bullshit, but I feel like for me, when I have multiple projects and I'm like really focusing on one hard thing, maybe just like one day a week, or just like when I'm very rested and then I'm doing a lot of the other training or like other routes and stuff on other days, that's when I feel like I make that kind of steady progress every time. And whenever I've tried hammering a route and it's like the only thing I'm trying, that's when I feel like my performance is kind of all over the place more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Maybe it works for like a week or like a couple weeks or, I don't know, like, but then you need to like maybe switch. For me personally, you need to switch it up. Sounds like you too.
Yeah, I have no idea, dude. I'm still trying to figure out how to project routes. All these conversations, I'm like, damn, that's a good point.
Well, I mean, and I think we talked about that last time, or maybe, I don't know, what in person or something. I just think that every route, maybe I wrote
Yeah, you did say that.
Every route, every project has a different process or whatever.
You said that, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So just like giving space to like, this thing might be different or this process might be different is, I think, like allowing ourselves is probably important.
So how is all that fitting together within a week? Trying villains, doing some of this other training. You're also setting routes at the gym. Doing some of the deadlifting, hangboard. Like, how is all that fitting together when you were trying that thing?
Yeah, that's hard because I don't know. I can't remember, like, it was maybe in February or something March or, no, it was later than that.
Maybe just how you were thinking about it. Like, was it like all a schedule? Were you just like kind of going with the flow? Do you remember that?
A little bit of going with the flow, a lot of like 2 days on, 1 day off kind of thing. And then like, if I worked, so I think a lot of it was like I would work during the week, 2 days, 3 days, and then I would want a rest day after my work days. And then I would climb on the route 2 days, and then I would, take a rest day and then climb on the route 2 days and then work or whatever. I've like obviously the privilege to rock climb a whole lot. We've talked about it in the past, but like training days are always going to be before rest day, especially those strength or like those like supplemental kind of strength days were always going to be before a rest day. So if I like climb all day, some days I would even finish and like go lift at the gym afterwards or go do core or do my hangboard, before a rest day.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially with the gym's been great because if I'm there, 3 days a week, then I just take those kind of as my training days midweek. And maybe some days I go in early or some days I stay late and just add some extra work in, and then have some climbing days. And then, obviously the gym is like amazing for letting me like, especially when I did Villains, I think I took some time off of work as well. They just kind of like, and with other things I've done this spring and summer, like they're so flexible and for me to like take some time off here and there. And then obviously with France, like just to go rock climb a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
That's awesome. Killer gym too. Yeah.
We're talking about climbing gym.
Yeah. Contact climbing gym in St. George. Super cool. Great people there. I want to ask you about two things that you mentioned when we're talking about Life of Villains. One of them's the hangboard, one of them's the breathing. And the hangboard, we don't need to go into a lot of depth here because we've talked about it, but you already have very strong fingers. And I'm curious, you said, I did something that felt applicable. And this is a super steep, horizontal almost cave route, which is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of picturing like maybe heavier hangs on bigger holds, that sort of thing. Like what was it that you focused on for that helped?
No, so for me, the route is like such a power endurance kind of edging into endurance kind of a route. It's like, not so hard to kind of pumpy overhanging climbing to like a good shake, and then just like 20, 25 moves of just like unrelenting climbing with a pretty bad shake.
Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that free teaser of my follow-up with Dru Mack. The rest of the conversation is available for patrons, and you can go listen to it right now. The full conversation is about 48 minutes, and I thought the second half was especially good. We went on to talk even more about Life of Villains, Dru's first 14D, and how he used a hangboard to train his power endurance for the route, which was really simple and really cool, and it's something I plan to try in my van later this year. And we talked about intentional breathing and how that played into his ascent, how Dru balances the hustle with resting and recovering. And we talked about some of his favorite rest day adventures. And we talked about 515 and how Dru is thinking about moving toward that very big goal. So if you want to go listen to it, all you have to do is sign up for Patreon. It's $5 per month to become a patron. That gives you access to over 20 exclusive follow-up episodes with past guests from the show, including Ethan Pringle, Emily Harrington, Drew Ruwana, Jonathan Segrist. I did one with Steve Bechtel and Natasha Barnes, and recently Ron Kauk, just to name a few of them. They've been really awesome episodes. So if you can't get enough of the podcast, jump on in. There's a lot more really good content in those follow-ups. And most importantly, it's a great way to support the show and help me continue to track down new guests and bring you weekly episodes of the podcast. Again, it's only $5 per month. It adds up really fast for me and goes a long way to helping out the show. Every dollar truly helps. And my hope is that you won't even notice it leaving your bank account. You can think of it as buying me a beer at the brewery once a month, if it helps to think of it that way. If you feel like signing up, you can find a link to Patreon right there in your podcast app. You can also go to thenuggetclimbing.com and click on the support the podcast button at the top of the page. If you're on your smartphone, just tap on those two little lines at the top of the page and you'll see it in that drop-down menu, the big orange box, support the podcast. Whether you choose to sign up or not, thank you so much for listening, and feel free to share the podcast with your friends. You can leave a rating on Apple Podcasts. It all truly helps, and I really appreciate every bit of support from you guys. It means a lot to me. I'm very grateful to you guys. Much love, and we'll see you next time.
Move with the rhythm. Shake it up, stop when the clock hits 13. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.